I'm Megan Waldrop, host of the Partners of Commercial Fishermen podcast, an extension of an online community for partners to connect and feel less alone. Our podcast invites fishermen, family, friends, and supporters of the industry to learn, laugh, vent, and hear stories about this incredibly unique way of life. What do you say? Let's dive in. Hey partners, we have a fun episode because we're talking about food. And who doesn't love some yummy food and amazing snacks? So this inspiration came from the road trip that I went on with Chris in August. I drove with him from Wilmington, North Carolina, where we have a home, to his fishery in Ventura, California, or the Channel Islands, California. It's right nearby. He fishes out at the Channel Islands, off the coast right there, and he fishes for spiny lobster, for those who aren't familiar. So his season starts October 2nd, or it started October 2nd. And for about a month and a half before then, he travels out there and he starts to prep, just getting after it. So this year I wanted to go with him just to squeeze in that extra quality time. And this year I thought we did a great job provisioning for our road trip. And I thought that these would be amazing ideas if you provision food for your fishermen and their crew, because I know a lot of POCFs, on top of everything else that we do out of, managing the business, raising the kids, making sure the home's all good. A lot of us are also gathering supplies and food for the boat. So I thought this would be nice to share. It's all healthy food. And I'm not going to be the food police here, because I feel like there's a lot of food shaming out there already. But I'll say that personally, we go the organic route and we eat minimal amounts of processed food, because our personal belief is that food is medicine, and eating healthy in this way will keep us healthy in the long run. But of course, there's articles out there about organic food having its own catch, but I don't pay much attention to it. I do me, I want you to do you, always do you. But if you're interested in learning more about implementing like the organic food, you can look up quote unquote Dirty Dozen or the Clean 15 online. You'll find a ton of info on that. So anyway, moving on. So I chose the foods on this list because they're healthy and they're what we'd usually eat. And also they keep from up to 3 to 5 days in the cooler, and it takes us 5 days to go out to California. And we actually had leftovers and they were still really great. So I thought that was helpful. So if you're shoving your fishermen off to go, for however long, these are foods that will keep. So chicken breast, we cooked them and then I shredded them. So we had a whole container full of shredded chicken breast. I just put olive oil, salt, and pepper. Super easy, but it was great to use just plain or make sandwiches or whatever. Then of course, y'all know my obsession with sockeye salmon. I freaking love wild caught sockeye salmon. We baked it. We had a couple of these salmons, and of course, I made it equal for us so we wouldn't have any resentment with each other on who's eating more salmon. Because that's a thing. In our relationship, I make sure we have separate peanut butter jars, separate chocolate, and salmon, because I want us to equally have enough share and not feel like one person's getting more than the other. We lived on a small boat together, and this is where that whole separate togetherness food came from, and learning about our resentment within that. But, we do, it works for us. Maybe that's, TMI. But anyway, if you don't want to do salmon, you could do fish, shrimp. Oh my gosh, the North Carolina shrimp is my favorite. Crab meat. I mean, who doesn't love crab meat? And your fishermen, whatever they're catching, you can make that seafood. Lobster, the list goes on. Just make sure it's cooked so you can eat it whenever you want. Okay, the next thing is spinach. Spinach is my safety blanket. You can take it out of those containers if you get it in one of those plastic box containers, or out of the spinach bags. And I like to put them in a Ziploc bag and then put a paper towel in there to absorb any moisture, and then they press down pretty good so you can squeeze all the air out and push it in. But spinach is my safety blanket because I feel like I need greens no matter what. Wherever we are, if I have a little handful of greens, I'm like, okay, I feel good. I got my veggies in. So spinach. Cabbage. Sliced up the cabbage. It was all ready to go. Cucumbers already sliced. It was perfect. Sauerkraut. We had a jar of sauerkraut. So good. Just get a fork and just eat it. Or we would make bowls and put the sauerkraut on the side right there. Sourdough bread. We got our favorite loaf of Wilmington Bread Company. Oh man, they make the bomb sourdough already sliced. So we got a couple loaves of that bread and we kept that. Actually, I think we only had one loaf. We had spelt tortilla wraps. Tortillas are just so easy. Make anything with them. hummus, of course. And with all of that I just mentioned, you can make a veggie wrap. You just slide that hummus in there. You can make it homemade or store-bought. I homemade mine this time. However, I didn't do that great of a job. It was okay. But, it's fine, whatever. But hummus, you can put carrots, cucumbers that are cut, the cabbage, and you put the sauerkraut. You know how to make a veggie wrap. But those tortilla wraps make things so much easier. Oh yeah, avo. We had a couple avos that were whole, and I would just slice them whenever we wanted them. We would probably eat a half each. Bring some salt too on the side so you can sprinkle that on whatever you need. So then I made a French tortilla wrap with these wraps. So it's literally butter on the tortilla, brie cheese, and sliced ham. It was amazing. I got this inspiration from a French bakery in Charleston, South Carolina. They sell that, but in between a baguette, and it's insane. But it's a great little protein kick whenever you need it. Cooked lentils. I made it with chicken broth and a little bit of salt, just a tiny little bit of salt. Man, these cooked lentils were actually a great idea. I loved them because I could, like I said, put them in a wrap or a bowl, but you could also have tortilla chips or any kind of chips or crackers that you want, and you can just scoop them out with your cracker and eat them. It's so perfect. Another higher protein snack that will keep you full or even keep you snacking, because why do boats and cars make you want to snack all day long? It's just one of the best parts of a road trip or a fishing trip, right? Seaweed snacks. We freaking love the seaweed snacks. Now, they come in they look like little square trays, like cubic trays. Some of them come in sheets that are pressed flatter, but I think you can get them at Costco. They have whole like sleeves of these tortilla thing, or what am I talking about? Of the seaweed snacks. So we just got those, and yeah, they were kind of bulky, but whatever, they were fun. Okay, so then, the carrots. We cut up carrots. So I learned recently, this is how restaurants keep carrots. If you get carrots, slice them up like little matchstick carrots or whatever, and then you put some water in a jar. Like put water in a mason jar, fill up the jar with the carrots standing up, and then screw the top on. They will stay fresh for over a week. It's mind blowing. So I love a friggin' carrot situation. It goes with my safety blanket with spinach. It's like, where are the veggies today? But you can make it, get store-bought or homemade dressing, and you can dip the carrots in there or any kind of veggies in that dressing. Is easy, amazing. Macro bars. We're obsessed with macro bars. I feel like they have everything you need. And, we all have our favorite bar. So you do your favorite bar. We had meat sticks. This was another Costco find. I can't remember the company, but jerky, but like clean jerky. It was really good, really good. So it was nice to have those. And then we had, of course, tea and coffee ready. I had dehydrated coffee, decaffeinated. I drink decaf, so I'm always bringing my coffee everywhere because not everywhere has decaf coffee. And we had tea bags. I probably brought enough tea to enough tea like the Boston Tea Party. Like we're really going to drink that much tea, but whatever. I had the herbal teas and the ginger teas for digestion, and Earl Grey and all the things. And then we had heavy cream. We were heavy cream fans, so we kept a container of heavy cream in there. It was perfect. So fruit, we did bananas, apples, plums, grapes. I mean, whatever that you like. And with that, you can do, bring, and then get that peanut butter jar that you can just like get out your bread or your tortilla wrap and put some peanut butter up in there. Banana, apple, like roll it all up. I mean, it's like kindergarten snacks. So effing delicious. Oh, and then this was my favorite thing that I made. I made an egg, spinach, feta, and mushroom, like egg squares. So I baked it. You can mix all this stuff together, pour it into a casserole dish, bake it until the eggs are done. And then you individually cut them kind of like brownies, cut them into squares. And then I individually wrapped them in parchment paper and then stuck them in a Ziploc bag. And these were awesome because in the morning you just pull them out and just eat them straight up, or, mix and match, put them in the bowl, put them in a sandwich, put them in a wrap. Like it was just great to have something that felt like we were getting more nourishment in the morning. Cooked quinoa. This was a great idea as well. Again, totally versatile. You could use it for anything, and it's a more of a protein starch that is easy to store and will last forever. Oh, I'm going to go back on the egg thing. The eggs last for up to 3 days, I think they said. But I mean, I don't even think they will last that long because they were so good. I put some garlic powder in there too. Boom, so good. And then I think I mentioned this earlier with the French wrap, but sliced deli ham. And then I like to put the sliced deli ham with brie and sliced apples on sourdough or in the wrap too. So good. And then for drinks, we would have our giant jugs of water that we would get, like RO water, you know, those big 3-gallon jugs. We had a couple of those because we go through water. And then we had some sparkling water and kombucha, and it was the bomb. I mean, our road trip was so smooth. I feel like we got there in maybe less time, but it was not only that, it just felt way less stressful because we weren't running around trying to figure out where we're going to eat in the middle of, you know, at the edge of Tennessee or Oklahoma or Texas. Like, where are you going to find food whenever these long stretches of road are in front of you? We had everything we needed in our cooler. We upgraded our cooler. We usually, you know, we used to have one of the coolers that Chris used on the boat, and I can't even think of the name right now, but one of those super thick ones. And we deal with ice, and that's a whole thing. So sometimes our food would get, you know, floating around the ice. That's not good. Make sure that all your food is really, really tightly sealed so that doesn't happen if you have an ice cooler. But this cooler he got, it is basically like a refrigerator, and it has a freezer section, but we used both sides as a refrigerator because you can adjust it. And that was also a game changer, not only to worry about the ice, but everything just stayed dry and it was lovely. But yeah, this was the provision list that I thought we did a really great job. And I hope that this provides some inspiration for when you're out shopping for food, or, you know, for your next road trip, or for whenever you're shopping for food for the boat, or maybe you're just hungry right now and you're like, damn, Megan, I wish I had XYZ. Anyway, these are really great ideas, and you don't have to be some kind of top chef to do it. I mean, these are my favorite part about this is you just make everything ahead of time. It's kind of like meal planning. Meal planning to go, but you keep everything super simple. And then if you wanted to add more flavor to it, like the chicken breast, you know, could get pretty basic, but you could put that dressing on top that you brought, or you could add more spices. You could shake a little, slap your mama on top, or any of those Cajun spices that we usually like to use, or whatever, hummus, you got this. So wanted to share. I was pretty proud of it. And I feel like packing for road trip food is like it always feels like a challenge. And I feel that this is what we're in the double digits of how many times we've crossed the country together. So I feel like after, 10 plus times, we actually nailed it. And I'm saying that because I want to help you out if you have any challenges in the future trying to figure out what the hell do you put on a provisioning list, or, what do I buy at the store? Because then you can get to the store and you're like, what am I even looking at? So I hope this brings some clarity, and I hope this gives you all the best snacking in your future, or good food that you're happy that your fisherman and his crew are eating. This just came to me. I know a woman who she sends her fishermen off with food in Alaska every season for Bristol Bay. And I think she ships him off with tons of lasagnas. So like meat and veggie lasagnas that she'll freeze. And I believe she sends it on some, obviously a cold storage boat that goes to Alaska, but also making burritos, all different kinds, breakfast burritos, lunch burritos. If you freeze them, they'll last forever. And if your fisherman has a freezer on the boat, they can just throw them in there or take them out and let them thaw out and just eat them. So that might be another option. And if you have any other ideas, I'd love to hear them. You can email me at support@POCFpride.com, because I know that there's some amazing cooks out there, and you probably have a tried and true situation already. And yeah, share the wealth. I would love to share with the rest of our community. So thanks so much for listening today. Happy eating. I hope everybody's doing great and you're feeling good and your relationship is doing great, and your relationship with yourself is the most important. And I hope that is going well for you too. I wish you nothing but love and POCF pride. Until next time. Thank you so much for listening. To support our community, I'd so appreciate it if you tap the subscribe button to this podcast or write a review. And if you're a POCF who wants to connect further, go to POCFpride.com for weekly vlogs and to learn about opportunities to join our private communities. We'd love to have you.